Okay, welcome to our weekly webinar series. We're going over, this is probably the most popular one we've had so far. We're going to go over the Wherefour QuickBooks integration. Really the most important part of it, in addition to kind of the mechanics of the integration, is how it enhances what you can do beyond what just QuickBooks does. So a couple housekeeping items. If you have to drop off early or for people who didn't attend, we're going to send out the recording of this afterwards, and you're certainly welcome to view that later on. We also will, if you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat, and we'll answer those in line um, or at the end, if it makes sense at that point in time. And then lastly, we're going to launch a poll here just with a couple of questions to get a sense for what folks are looking for out of the webinar. So let's get started. This will be about 15 minutes or so. We like to do this quickly to make the best use of everybody's time, and you're certainly welcome to reach out afterwards. So why QuickBooks and Wherefour as opposed to just QuickBooks? QuickBooks, if you're using it right now for inventory management and manufacturing, it has very basic functionality. At the end of the day, it's a really good accounting program. It's the most popular accounting for small and medium-sized businesses in North America, and they spend all of their time building accounting functionality, which it's very good at. Some of the other enhancements that you don't get with just QuickBooks, traceability and compliance. If you're running a food business, cosmetics, any type of business that has any compliance requirements, those are not covered with just QuickBooks. You don't have really any planning functionality. I'll get into a little bit about what that is. Again, it's just for accounting, and what you do get out of it is kind of an overall business report card. When you use both of the systems, Wherefour is built for manufacturing. So when you combine a system that's built for manufacturing with one built for accounting, you get the best of both worlds. Easy traceability and compliance, manufacturing and product costing, which is super important at an individual product level. The other nice thing is if you're using QuickBooks now, you don't have to change anything. You don't have to get a new accounting program. You don't have to set up a new GL. Your accounting workflows will remain the same. Again, the Wherefour in QuickBooks, and I'm going to hop into this. I don't need to read all of this to you, but basically you get seamless financial reporting because of the integration and the way that we've built it. Data gets passed over, all the financial data, and so you still get your balance sheets, income statements, those sorts of things, and I'll show you what that looks like as we kind of go through here. So the first thing I'm going to do is hop into Wherefour and talk a little bit about that planning functionality. One of the things you really get from a manufacturing standpoint, one of the challenging things is planning for materials. What do I need to make and what do I need to buy? A couple functions in here that you're certainly not going to get in QuickBooks are the what if and MRP functionality. What if is basically, what if I get an order for um, let's say these chocolate chip 12 count cookie boxes, and let's say I need to make 10,000 of these. Can I do that with what I have in inventory right now? And when I scroll down here, I have most of my items that I need in inventory, but what this is telling me basically is I need to buy some packaging items, some labels, and some boxes. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to do a production run of that size. That's something you can't do very quickly in QuickBooks. That's just kind of a one-off, can I do make a certain product? If we want to look at it more globally, we can combine forecasting with our MRP, and this in and of itself, if you want to look back, we did a quick webinar on the MRP, so I'm not going to go into it in depth, but what I will show you is when I have a forecast or I have orders in house, you can very quickly see in a system like Wherefour, I'm going to toggle off the lead time here and the raw materials, and I'm just going to look at my finished goods here. And this is basically showing me for these cookie boxes, I actually have enough on hand over this entire time horizon to meet all of our forecast need. When I scroll down here a little bit, the sugar cookies showing me that basically in this first week here, I do have certain inventory on hand, but my forecast says that I'm going to sell 300 units during the course of this week, or I might have orders in house for 300 units, basically telling me that I need to make at least 141 or I'm not going to be able to fill my orders. I can see here I've got some production scheduled for next week, so maybe I want to bump that up to this week and make that product this week. So again, that's a very quick look at one of the things you might be able to get in a Wherefour plus QuickBooks environment that you're not going to get just running your business on QuickBooks. I'll look at a couple of the reporting things here. Again, the distinction here for me is with QuickBooks, you're going to get a snapshot of the other overall health of the business, your income statement for the business. With Wherefour, because you're running very detailed inventory management in our system, you're going to get reporting that goes above and beyond what QuickBooks can do. So one of the things, again, from an inventory management standpoint, I can run this low stock report, and what this is basically going to show me are all of my items that are below a reorder point that I set. So for flour here, we've got 1,000 kilograms on hand. We've got a reorder point or a lower level that we want to stay above of 5,000. So this is going to warn us that we need to order some of this material in. So that's again a really quick, nice thing that you can get in a system like Wherefour. A couple items here, the shipment or fulfillment report we'll look at really quickly. And this is basically, again, order management, anything having to do with inventory. If I go in here, I can pull up all the orders I have in-house for all of my products here. So I've got 3 orders for these cookie boxes that total up to 510, plenty of inventory on hand. Again, if I scroll down, I've got some of these M&M cookie boxes. I've got orders in-house for 304, but I don't have any in stock right now. So basically telling me I've got product on back order. I need to make some of this to ship out. And when I do that, I'm going to be able to bill $4,500 in revenue. So forward looking, what's my cash flow look like? What are the orders that I have in house once I ship those out? How much revenue is going to be coming in? And then backward looking, if we look at a shipments report in the system, when I ship materials out, I can get a very detailed look at, did I make money when I ship those out? So I've got a couple of orders here to a couple of different customers where I ship some product out of the system. And it's going to show me my sell price along with my cost. That cost, incidentally, we've got another webinar on that. It's built up from all the raw materials that I order. I use those to make a finished good. I can have overhead items like labor in the system so I can get a total cost for every product I make. And when I ship it out, the system's going to automatically show me what did I make on every single line item of every order at the most granular level. And then I can certainly roll it up to look at profitability by customer or by product overall or by channel. So that's kind of some of the enhanced, really detailed level reporting functionality I can get in Wherefour. There's certainly more to it, but I'm going to really quickly hop over to show you a little bit about the integration and how we communicate with QuickBooks, and then on the QuickBooks side, the data that we get because we're passing financial data over as we're running our company in Wherefour essentially. So what we do here is, and I'll go through a little bit of this, is basically we're mapping. You can set up inventory categories in the system and then tell Wherefour how to post those into QuickBooks. So for example, if I want to look at my finished cookies category, which I might have those M&M cookies in and some other things, I've mapped that to when I ship those out of the system, I'm going to hit a specific cost of goods account called cookies, and then I'm going to deplete my inventory essentially. So again, when I sell $100 worth of cookies, it's going to post cost of goods into a specific GL account, and then of course deplete my inventory. When I write it off, say some of it spoils, I'm going to hit the inventory loss account and again deplete my inventory asset account. So we're going to map over categories of products that are going to directly hit the correct QuickBooks accounts. And then on an inventory item level, what I can do there is I can map to the classes in QuickBooks. So if I want, when I sell these cookies, if I want to book that revenue specifically to a cookies class so that I can run P&L by product category, line, product line of mine, or by a certain type of customers or something like that, I can map my inventory items over at the class level, which is a functionality in QuickBooks. If you don't know more about that, you can certainly tons of YouTube videos on that. So that mapping gets done. The result of that is by running your business in Wherefour, when I look in QuickBooks, I get great financial data, much better financial data than I get just running QuickBooks. So if I look at like my customers just to kind of show you the detail level that things get passed over in. I'll look at the customers here and I'm going to just pull up a quick invoice to some product that I've shipped out of the system. Wherefour passes over the the invoice that's generated so you don't have to recreate it in QuickBooks. We've set up the integration so that you don't have to do double the work. If you execute an order in QuickBooks, ship it out of the system will automatically create an invoice and it's going to have the line item detail just as though you had created it in QuickBooks. So if you look here, once this invoice pops up, we've shipped out specific products. Here's my customer. I've got two different products that I'm shipping out of the system with my quantity, cost, and total. And then you can take advantage of the tax integrations in QuickBooks. So we're passing over the order out of Wherefour, and the tax gets applied if you happen to be selling taxable products. And then you can, again, what I mentioned before is your workflows don't have to change. You can just email this invoice to your customer out of QuickBooks. The last thing I'm going to show you here is the financial statements that you're able to get in an enhanced fashion by using the QuickBooks Wherefour combo. So if I just look at the balance sheet, if I go in here and look at my simple balance sheet, we've passed over data as we've purchased inventory. We've shipped inventory out of the system. That's affecting the inventory account because that's how we've set up the integration. So if I scroll down here and we look at the inventory account, you can see here that we've got some additional detail here. I can have finished goods and raw materials separate categories if I want, or I can just have it roll up into one large asset account. It's totally up to you how that works. And again, because we're mapping over categories, you can map those categories to specific GL accounts in QuickBooks. The other thing that I'll look at here is our Of course, you can generate a typical P&L, but then you can also, again, I mentioned those classes that you can map to from Wherefour to QuickBooks. So I can go in here and get, in this example, I have revenue that I've booked in the system and I've mapped it to specific accounts. And so if I look here at sales of product, all of my product for this time period is 13,000, but I've also can carve it up by, in this example, I have candy product lines, I have cookie product lines, and I have private label product lines. I can go in here and look at my revenue across all of those product lines, and then I can also look at my costs across of all of those product lines. So I can go down here and look at profitability by product line that overall rolls up here. And if I look at, for example, these two, I'm making the most money. My profit margin on cookies is, roughly 40%. I've got a much lower profit, maybe 20% here on candy. On the products that I've shipped out on my private label line, I'm actually losing money on. So again, because we're able to map things over, categorize things on the Wherefour side and get very accurate costing, it gives you the ability to use QuickBooks in a much more enhanced way. So it's enhancing your QuickBooks experience, and it's also giving the ability to look at things on a very granular level in Wherefour. So let me see if there are any questions. Has anybody popped into the chat? I don't see any questions right now. I'll give you a couple more minutes because we're going to wrap it up again. We've hit right at our 15 minutes, which is our goal here. Wanted to thank everybody for coming. And if you want to look at your specific business and get a personalized demo, or you have specific questions, certainly reach out to me or anybody at Wherefour via email. And you can visit our website and we can set up a call to go through a demo and really talk about your specific challenges that you might be facing if you're just using QuickBooks. We're certainly happy to walk through that. So thank you very much. Appreciate everybody spending the time with us today. And again, check out all our webinars online. There's a whole series of them.